Is fat making you fat?
Ansel Keys had a theory that heart attacks were caused by a diet high in saturated fats.
The low-fat diet was better than the low-carb diet for losing body fat.
We've all heard for decades about how terrible fat is for us, especially saturated fat.
Foods like cheese, butter, and red meat contain a lot of saturated fat.
Cutting down how much fat you eat makes a much bigger difference in losing body fat overall.
Hang on, that's a load of... Do you know you actually need fat in your diet to survive? And fat is not the villain it's made out to be. I know that might be hard to believe, especially with years of diet culture telling us that fat is bad, but I'm here to set the record straight. Most people think if you eat fat, it will make you fat. But in today's episode of Nutrition 101, I'm gonna explain what fat really is, why people think it's bad, and why it's actually an important part of your diet. Fat is all this yummy stuff. Foods high in fat include meat products, cream, chocolate, biscuits, cakes, pastries, oils, and much more. A lot of these types of foods have low-fat alternatives, which tend to be more highly processed, like margarine, skim milk, 0% yogurt, and light versions of cheese. So why is that?
Good question.
Now, there's a few reasons. The anti-fat mindset has shaped the diet industry for decades. Back in the 1940s, scientific studies showed a correlation between high-fat diets and high cholesterol levels, suggesting that less fat in the diet might prevent heart disease in high-risk patients. Fast forward to the 1960s, when the low-fat diet began to be promoted, and not just for those at risk of heart disease, but good for the whole nation. By the 1980s, the low-fat approach was a popular idea supported by physicians, governments, the food industry, and the media. Even though there was limited evidence that low fat prevented heart disease or led to long-term weight loss, many people took to the idea without understanding all the benefits that dietary fat has to offer. Ironically, in the same decades that the low fat approach grew, an obesity epidemic also grew, suggesting that this diet culture revolution didn't really benefit people's health. Only recently has the narrative started to shift, as we've seen the popularity of high-fat, low-carb diets, such as the carnivore diet and keto. Then we have the caloric value of fat. Out of the three macronutrients, fat is the highest in calories. Carbs and protein both have 4 calories per gram, whereas fat has 9 calories per gram, over twice as much as the other 2 energy sources. Because of this, foods higher in fat tend to be higher in calories.
That's shocking.
With the basic principle of fat loss in mind, you can understand why people might think cutting out fat will help them reduce their calories and therefore lose weight. To some degree, that is correct. However, and like we've said before in our carbs episode, if you completely cut out a food group, then you're bound to lose weight. But as soon as you reintroduce those foods, that weight will come rushing back. There are an insane amount of benefits to eating fat, so it doesn't make sense to completely deprive yourself of it. Remember when I said you need fat to survive? Well, it's true. Your body needs fat from your diet for its biological processes. Dietary fats support cell function, help protect your organs, and help keep your body warm. They also provide fatty acids that your body can't produce itself. If you don't eat enough fat, your health can deteriorate, leading to symptoms such as skin problems, hair loss, a weaker immune system, and vitamin deficiencies. And did you know that vitamin A, D, E, and K are all fat-soluble vitamins, which means they can only be absorbed with the help of fats. Fat is also extremely important for your hormones, and women can even lose their periods on a low-fat diet. This is because eating a low-fat diet decreases the body's production of estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen deficiency can lead to other nasty symptoms too, like insomnia, night sweats, and heart palpitations in women of any age. So, why have we been led to believe that fat is a bad thing?
Cholesterol.
Cholesterol. High levels of bad cholesterol in your blood can lead to health problems and higher risks of heart disease and strokes. But cholesterol can be really good for you, and there are lots of good cholesterol which is needed to balance out the bad cholesterol in your body. That leads us to the 4 types of fat. First, we have monosaturated fats. Some foods include nuts, rapeseed oil, and avocados. And then we have polyunsaturated fats, which include foods rich in essential acids omega-3 and omega-6, like oily fish, sunflower oil, and seeds. These are thought of as healthy fats because they can help maintain healthy cholesterol levels. And then we have saturated fats, such as processed meats, whole milk products, and coconut oil. And then we've got trans fats, such as fried foods, baked goods, and hydrogenated oil. These are considered unhealthy fats because they can raise your bad cholesterol. So it's not that a fat-rich diet is bad for you. It's just important to understand which fats serve your body better, which fats you should limit in your diet, and how to eat certain foods in small amounts. I would definitely recommend whole fatty foods in moderation, rather than swapping everything to low-fat options. Low-fat foods come with their own issues. For example, if you take a low-fat yogurt, you might have noticed the sugar content is way higher than the full-fat option. This is a typical issue with the way low-fat alternatives are made. If you're trying to follow diet culture rules, then in theory, you're just swapping out one bad thing for another. High-fat foods will also be much more satiating than low-fat. Fats are the last to leave the digestive tract and help us feel fuller for longer, helping to prevent overeating. For these reasons, certain low-fat foods can actually make the process of dieting even harder because you're not getting all the fullness benefits of dietary fat. Generally, diets low in fat have pros and cons. Low-fat options can be helpful for getting you into a calorie deficit during a fat loss phase, but it's important to understand that low fat doesn't equal better, and definitely not in the long term. So what's our stance on fats? They're tasty, they're satiating, and they are essential for your health and body. So what's your favorite fatty food? Let us know in the comments. For me, it's gotta be cheese. It's got to be cheese. If you like this video, then don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content on everything to do with your fitness, nutrition, and mindset, then hit that subscribe button. If you want to learn more from our nutrition series, then click the playlist here and get more of your favorite educational content. Hi, I'm Jamie Moran, co-founder of Body Smart Fitness. Now, we are a team of women's weight loss experts, and to date, we've helped over 3,000 women transform their health, fitness, and nutrition. On average, most of our clients lose 5 to 10 pounds a month and keep it off for good.